How big a deal could this be? We'll ask Congressman Chip Roy of Texas what his thoughts are. Now, Congressman, you're in that camp that says we can do all of this and tie border security with it. Democrats are saying no. In the meantime, if you're President Zelensky over in Ukraine, you're getting worried. In fact, you're panicking. Should he?
Well, let's be clear. In the southern border across the United States, we had 12,000 apprehensions yesterday, Neil. That is an all-time high. We've got a crisis in Arizona. It's absolutely unsustainable. People pouring into our country. You and I have talked about this before. The fentanyl pouring into our communities, killing our kids. Texas, we've spent $12.5 billion to deal with the border crisis. This is all something that could be addressed almost immediately. Jay Johnson, when he was the Secretary of Homeland Security under President Obama, he just simply said 1,000 a day was a crisis. We're talking about 12,000 yesterday, Neil. So all we're saying as Republicans is, shouldn't we put the southern border of the United States, the sovereignty of America, the safety of Americans first, rather than throwing another $60 billion to Ukraine before we've done our job to keep Americans safe here at home? All of us want to see Putin stopped. All of us want to see Ukraine be in a good spot and sovereign. But it's not our job to put Ukraine before the American people. And importantly, Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, is simply telling the Senate, do your job, follow the law. Tell the president to follow the law. Tell the Secretary of Homeland Security to stop ignoring his constitutional and legal obligation to secure the border of the United States. People in my state, Neil, they're dying. We're getting hurt. And this president is ignoring us. So we're just simply saying, do your job.
Okay, so when you tie the two together, when the president says he's very happy to work out something on this separately with you, it sounds like you just don't trust him.
Well, I don't know why I would trust him when we've had 5 point something million people released into the United States, almost 2 million gotaways, people from all over the world, people on the terrorist watch list, people dumping into the United States and endangering us. Why would I trust this administration? And importantly, we're saying, do your job, pass H.R. 2, and enforce the laws, show us that you're going to do your job to secure the border, then come talk to us about Ukraine. That's literally all we're saying. And this administration refuses to do even that, which should tell the American people that this administration prioritizes securing Ukraine before securing America. They prioritize funding for IRS expansion over funding Israel. We know where the Democratic priorities lie, and they're not with the United States and the United States' interests.
Let me ask you, you mentioned Mike Johnson, the speaker, and you've had I wouldn't call it a tense relationship, but you've been critical of him, and that you didn't like your quote unquote his negotiating a crappy defense bill. Where are things now with you two?
Yeah, I want to be clear. Mike Johnson is a friend. I'm trying to push Mike Johnson just like I tried to push Kevin McCarthy. The clock is ticking. America is suffering. Our American people are suffering with open borders and suffering with a Defense Department that is no longer able to recruit, with morale that is low, because you've got an administration that's prioritizing social engineering over defense. The NDAA, that the so-called compromise bill that was just struck with Democrats, it doesn't do any of the stuff that we put in our July bill to make our Defense Department strong. It doesn't end the abortion tourism. It doesn't end transgender surgeries. It doesn't end all the chief diversity officers and funding that. It doesn't end race-based admissions at the academies. It doesn't end the president's executive orders on climate change. All of that stuff is undermining our defense prioritization on focusing on killing people and blowing stuff up, which is what a Defense Department is supposed to be designed to do.
But he was happy with all of the above, not those specific items you mentioned, sir, but he was happy with the defense, or the best that could be gotten at the time, to paraphrase him. You're obviously not happy with it. And are you saying 2 strikes now, Mr. Speaker?
Look, the National Defense Authorization Act that is before us today should be opposed by all Republicans, including the Speaker of the House.
But
it should not have FISA. It should not have FISA added on top of it that continues spying on the American people until April of 2025. We have reforms that we're ready to pass in this House. Why would we tack a clean extension of FISA on the back of a flawed, watered-down defense bill? The Speaker should not do that. We should stand strong. We should make sure we pass a FISA that is reformed, a defense authorization that focuses on defending the American people, and then we should force the administration to secure the border of the United States. That's why we were sent into the majority in the House.
Congressman, feel better. Sounds like you're battling a bad cold there. Hopefully you'll get through that. But very good seeing you again. If we don't chat again, have a Merry Christmas, sir. Good seeing you.
Merry Christmas, Neil. God bless you.
All right, Chip Roy on all of that. In the meantime, the candidates now back on the stump.